Live, I'd like to go over a quick overview of what is transpiring so far this morning. As we can see so far, good morning, Sean Crothers, my main man from Maine. Good to see you in here, my friend. But what we can see transpiring is we did have a bit of a bounce back from yesterday. As you know, yesterday I was a little more bullish after the drop down to $1.95, $1.98 area. But we had a first layer push up, which, we can't make this stuff up. That it absolutely got rejected on at the start, and we needed to. What the hell is going on here? Why does it keep doing that? Is this not working properly? I don't know. Okay, so I'm not sure what happened, but YouTube is going berserk right now. Look at this. It keeps closing it and opening it up in the background, which is completely annoying. But we'll see how this plays out. So, what I was saying is right now, not only did we have a little bit of a rebound with XRP, but we did have a rejection point here as well. But we got to talk about some important stuff here, assuming that YouTube doesn't, mess with this. But we got rejected at this, and what is going on here? Why does it keep doing this now? This is so annoying. What the hell? What, now all of a sudden I can't do this without YouTube being in the background? Like, what is going on? These apps and services are active while running in the background. Yeah, no kidding, but why is it popping up and superseding my live? This would be really annoying, unless I got to keep it in the background. So, what I was saying is with XRP, we came up to that zone, but if it keeps blocking off my page, it's going to be annoying. So I'm going to have to try to figure this out. There must have been some kind of update with YouTube. They're always messing with the creators. And it makes it pretty difficult because it always tries to supersede what we're doing. And it's pretty annoying, to be honest. And this just looks like something else that is starting to transpire. But anyhow, right now we've got $2.37, which is very important, where we got rejected. It was just a little area with this inverse head and shoulders. If we wanted to break out and start getting back to the bullish side of town, we perfectly rejected on it. And right now we've got this little bit of a support try. I just put a little channel in there because this is the importance of this range. Otherwise, it's going to have to come back down to the bottom of what looks like a perceived pennant flag. But that would have to hold for this to play out. The one problem I have right now is the CME gap on Bitcoin. Is anybody familiar with that? And I don't know if it made the comments go away now or what's going on because it's being so up and down, left and right this morning. But I'm going to assume I can't see comments. So if that's the case, I might have to pull up my phone, which, it is what it is. But we've got what looks like a pennant flag formed. You have lower highs and higher lows successfully. After a big bullish move, and on the consolidation, you create what is often termed as a pennant flag here. All good. It's starting to work. Good. Hi, Tom. Much obliged for the great work. Thank you very much, John. JW, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 2 years with the XRP 589 Moon Badge. Josie Wales, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army. Getting close to a year now with that XRP predictor. Well over 6 months now. But we have a CME gap on Bitcoin. And what that means is that's down at about 96,200. And for anybody who doesn't know what a CME gap is, we'll talk about it in Bitcoin trading, but I want to do the intro first. So please make sure to hit that like button so we can help push us through the recommendations. We're going to get a lot less people viewing now because the market's been not collapsing, but consolidating. And a lot of people decide to tune out in these time frames when it's starting to get into a very interesting spot. So I would rather more people see this when it's red than green. It's great when we have a bunch of people when it's green. But let's face it, when the market's red, this is when you get the most information. We're talking about the CME gap down at 96,200. That one way or another, whether it wants to hit it, well, it won't even be able to hit it today. We got to wait for the markets to open up. So I suspect Monday morning we're going to have to hit that area. And for anybody who doesn't know what a CME gap is, we'll talk about it right on the other side of this intro. Good morning. 9:58 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Saturday, December 21st, 2024. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. So I'm here early this morning. I've been on the weekends doing lives in the morning. Today I've got a party at my house for my birthday that was on December 17th, and Julie's brother, who turned 45. I turned 41. We have a birthday on the same day, December 17th. He was just born 4 years earlier. So it's become a tradition here. This is like, what, 4 years? 3 years? Something. Yeah, we've been doing a tradition here ever since we moved in. So it's been a cool thing. So that's what we got going on today. So I wanted to make sure to do at least an hour here. I know I'm going to do a short early afternoon. But like later this evening, I don't know if I'll be able to come back because everybody's going to be at my house. So I want to make sure we front run this. So first things first, the CME gap for Bitcoin. It's about 1,000 points, $1,000 lower than we are. The importance of a CME gap, and if you don't know what it is, I'm not going to try to explain it all without having some facts in front of you so that you can read it. Amanda, welcome in, love, and thank you so much for being in your first month of Tom's Army with the emoji badge of me being abducted by aliens. And I know it's your first month because that's my face superimposed on that emoji badge. Really, really means a lot to me to see some of you out here. 145 people here this morning. That's incredible. That's incredible. I've noticed overall in the analytics when you look at it, not through YouTube, but through the crypto sphere and through the popularity of XRP, the buzz has turned 75% from where it was just a week ago. Everybody was coming out being an XRP expert saying it's going to $5. And what did I say? It's making me nervous. When everybody's telling you some stock tips or when they're telling you the crypto to buy or telling you XRP is a no-brainer, can't miss, well, that's when the average shoe shiner starts telling me when to buy stock. And then I start looking away. That's when we started targeting the drop after we got rejected at 272. And I talked about a 27% drop for XRP down to, it came a little bit lower than even I was suspecting. I looked at that $1.98. It didn't come that much farther down, but it still came down. So, but this CME gap we're talking about, and this is good education. You're not being charged to get this information. You don't have to take classes at my channel. All you have to do is come here day after day. I put this content out for free. And if you feel the need to send a donation, which the last couple days I said simply not to because we're down, that is up to you. But I encourage you to probably save that money that you would donate, put that into your pocket, and then when the market hits a spot you want, even if it's a $20, $10, start adding that up, and then you can use that. And then if it goes up 10, 15, 20%, you know, so just do that in a way that seems to make sense. Now, I'm not going to stop you from paying it forward, but in these moments, I would rather you put the money in your pocket, and then you can buy some of these volatile swings. And then, hey, maybe in the future, if it drops 25%, and then you have a 50% return and you want to send $5, so be it. But right now, I just don't feel like that's pertaining to what we need to be doing here. Like, you need to watch your own personal portfolio in your pocketbook right now. It's Christmas time, so a lot of you have kids. The bills are a little stacked. Prices go up and 25. So just be smart about it. I appreciate all the members of Tom's Army that helped me fund this program so I don't have to do any paid promotions and things like that. I'm not saying I'm not humble or appreciative. I'm just saying sometimes, you know, we need to, I don't know, sometimes we need to just watch our own pocketbook sometimes. And I feel like that's the time of the year we're in right now. And also, don't forget to give thanks to your Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, which will give you that guiding light. And as long as we all think and preach the name of God, or at least the word of God, well, just more than one of us need to do it at once, and he becomes present in our gathering, let's just say. So the CME gap. The CME gap. What is a CME gap in Bitcoin trading? So a CME gap refers to the difference between the closing price of Bitcoin on the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, CME, and its opening price when trading resumes. It occurs during weekends or after the market closed for a specific period. And in my own estimations, and you guys can tell me if you think I'm right or wrong, I think there's a CME at 96,200 on Bitcoin approximately. 96,200. When the markets closed on Friday, and we'll have to go back. This is Thursday. Tuesday of last week, we went up to Wednesday. And then we came down on, what is this, Friday. It pulled back up, but when it closed, yeah, see, I was a little too high. It should be 96 like 2. When I put this out, I was thinking it would be around there. But then I put it around the 200 day. But it's like 96,200. And we've come back down in the last 4 hours to clear this. The problem is, is the market's not open yet on Monday. Like, we're still in the thinly traded weekend. In my opinion, what I'm seeing here, yesterday I was much more bullish because I knew it had to have a big rebound. And we had to come up and try to test this rising channel, which we did. It just couldn't get above. Got rejected at the 20-day as of right now. We've still got this bearish cross, and if we were to lose this 96,200 gap area, that is where it becomes dicey, because then the death cross can start. And then, yeah, it becomes a big deal. So let's read a little bit more into this CME gap, because I have a feeling a lot of my audience doesn't have any clue what I'm talking about. Aside the ones who have been watching for a few years and might have picked up on this along the time. So how do CME gaps impact Bitcoin price? CME gaps have been observed to have significant impact on Bitcoin prices. When Bitcoin's price experiences a substantial move during a gap, it often creates a magnet effect on the market, pulling the price towards the gap level. And you see what happened? We went over 98,000 overnight, and now we're eking back towards that 96,200 gap area. Trading Bitcoin CME gaps require careful consideration and risk management. Some strategies include establishing a risk management plan. We already know this. So the future of Bitcoin trading in CME gaps is interesting and evolving. Factors such as increased market liquidity. Clam Bellies, I'm glad I put a smile on your face. I really, really am. Papa Wheelie, thanks for being in Tom's Army along with Jedi Monk for over 3 months with the XRP Meteor. That's incredible. Thank you all for that continued support. Growing institutional interest and continued innovation in cryptocurrency derivatives. Joy McCaffrey, thank you so much for the $5 donation. I sold 50,000 XRP at 228. Gonna buy it back if it goes to 180. I'm nervous, sorry to ask, but you think I'm right. I mean, I would have liked it better if you would have sold at 272 because it gave you more flexibility. It's not that I think you're wrong. We'll get into, here, let me go back to that and then I'll finish reading that. I appreciate the generosity. Certainly didn't have to do that, but I greatly appreciate you paying it forward for my work. That means a lot to me. I don't think you're necessarily wrong, because even if we were to hold this area, we may still have to come back down to $2, even if this uptrend holds. But there's no guarantee this holds. Just because it looks like a pennant flag, there's some things in this chart that, yes, I have reasons to be excited, but I also have cause for concern. Remember yesterday what I said? If I see a dropping volume on the way up, I'm not going to feel as good as I am on the initial push. And as far as the volume portfolio, I don't think you made a bad decision because you're trusting your gut. I don't think you made a bad decision because we have less volume coming in. We have more sell volume than buy volume here in about the last week. That is not a good sign for a short-term continuation. Short to mid-term now looks bearish after that push up yesterday. The only way that we can reverse that mindset, even though, think about it, we've come up from 35 cents all the way up to $2.20 plus cents. This is not the typical upward bearish or in a bearish zone. This is technically right now, it's dangerous. Let me just put it this way. It's dangerous to sell it when the consolidation is still happening. That's why I've said we'll have the decision to sell if you want to at $2, whether good or bad. And now you can see even with this pennant flag, technically it could be a fake out though. It's technically a pennant flag right now. So even if it broke down, you would still get the rejection coming back up. So it's still setting up in the way that I expected. Even if it went bearish, that we'd have a chance to sell it at $2. And that's not me saying, oh, I could have sold it at $2.97. And if somebody were to sell it at $2, you cost yourself $9 grand on 10,000 tokens. I tend to look at it a different way. I bought it at 34 cents. So yeah, it's not $3,400 and I could still sell it for 20 grand. Like to me, that's where you start to look like I said in 21. I didn't sell the head, I sold the right shoulder and it cost me like 17%. But that was different in 21. We had an instant rejection, and when it came back down to $1.20 whatever, and when it came back up, it created a very apparent right shoulder, and it literally morphed it into a shoulder. Right now, it's tough because we haven't broke this. So I don't want to say you made a bad decision. The daily might actually support it if this continues pulling down, because that very well could turn into a long leg doji, and those are bearish reversals. And right now, that's exactly what it looks like. But I don't want to say you made a bad decision. It's just I don't like the zone you sold it in at 228. I would have preferred for you to sell it at the downtrending resistance parts, which we couldn't have possibly known that it would set up like this with that last drop. You're just kind of in no man's land. Because even if you're right, we could technically come up to 256 to get a third rejection and then flail through, which sometimes happens. So it's not that you're wrong. It's just that you're going to have to be stressed out about this move for a little bit. And it very well could pay you off because, like I said, that CME gap at 96,200, XRP is going to respond to that if that happens. XRP is going to respond. Jedi's got 107,000 worth of XRP. Guys, I am not a financial advisor, so I can't literally tell you to buy or sell. Like, that's against the law for me. I'm not even joking. I could be sued if I were to literally tell you that this is the time for you to sell your portfolio or this is the time to, you know, continue on. But what I can tell you, it depends your tax situation too. If you're looking to hold this, do not tell your bags. Oh, man, I mean, people can tell their bags. People tell all the time, don't tell your bags. No, you can tell your bag, don't tell your receiving wallet. Or your sending wallet. Everybody tells their... I've got JM Bullion that accepts cryptocurrency and it shows you on the spot exactly how much of everything they're holding. You've got Scottsdale Mint that does the same thing. You've got hundreds of thousands of institutions that openly show their amount of holdings. You can tell your holdings, but if you show your sending wallet, you're screwed. You might not want to say how much you're worth. I understand that. But as far as just saying you hold this for that, I don't look at that. If the scammers are going to come and get you, they're going to come and get you because you're sharing your sending wallet. I mean, I can share my receiving wallet to you guys, and there's no way you can hack my stuff. A receiving wallet is simply a second layer of security on my ledger, and then the ledger itself sends it over from the receiving wallet into my actual holdings. So, but for me, when it comes to XRP, my plan isn't to sell here. It never was. Now, could it come back to bite me in the ass? Oh, you're absolutely right, but then I'll just be holding for more time. But my plan with cryptocurrency is to beat the digital frontier. And we can already see the government is going that way. When Jerome Powell said what he said about the U.S. can't make a Bitcoin reserve, it guaranteed to me that's exactly what was happening. Jerome Powell hasn't told the truth in 15 years. He hasn't told the truth in the last 4 in quantitative easing. He couldn't even tell the truth in quantitative tightening to tell us that we were actually in inflation. They couldn't be transparent at all. So the fact that he said that, I knew the market would dump. That's where we can't. I mean, once I said the day before that about the 27%, and he said that, I'm like, oh my God, we're going to crash, but I'm not afraid. And in fact, it's quite the opposite. I've never been so comfortable with the run this far up. Now, if it breaks some of these levels I've talked about, then we can reevaluate. But until a pennant flag breaks, because it very well could still be a topping reversal, I've seen these also play out many times. I've seen this many times play out too in my history, where it comes up, everybody assumes that it's creating the topping reversal, and it comes up to create the actual head, and that was just the shoulder. That's what I'm saying. We got to make sure if this is a head and shoulders right now, or if this is the beginning to the end. It doesn't make any sense to come up here and not fill some of these higher gaps from years ago. It really doesn't. We've got some gaps up here from 2017 or 2018 that have never been filled. Never been filled. We have never filled it. XRP Hitman, some would have to have a lot of knowledge to do that because most people in this audience are only going to know how to buy and sell off an exchange and possibly how to put it into a wallet. But you're absolutely right about that. There are avenues to take. It's not easy. And it's not a direct, oh, we're staking an XRP token, but there are ways to earn yield. It's just, you got to be careful. I don't talk about it because, again, if somebody wants to go down that level of expertise, they're going to have to know it, and I'm not just going to talk it so somebody can do it. But I understand exactly what you're saying. Yeah, oh yeah, Bitcoin definitely has a gap down there at 9K. I've talked about this a million times. XRP's got a gap down about 12 cents or 13 cent area that we've never filled. But at the same time, we can talk about the lower gaps, but XRP's never filled the gap around 330 or 340. So, like, does it make more sense to come all the way back down to the lower gap areas, especially 92 cents for XRP is a huge gap? Or do we have to go up and fill these gaps finally after 8 years? I don't know. This is the thing that gets me. In a traditional setting, I would have already sold XRP. You guys know this back in 20. I would have already sold. There's zero question I would have already sold. But because of the way the setup came up, I said, uh-oh. There's no, you haven't got that move yet where you can do it. No, somebody brought up XCN before. It is not an ISO token, so I do not own it. Sorry. It's not an ISO and it has no link to the IoT. So, the only token that I have that is not directly in the IoT or iOS is ESE, but they have direct connectability for applications to connect to the IoT. So their whole purpose is to make a connectability for the IoT. We may never fill the gaps. We can't sell before this. But no, exactly, Sean. Exactly. No. That's what I'm saying. I'm not selling right now. That's not my mindset. Now if it breaks this, that's when I said, if it breaks this formation, I didn't know it was going to look exactly like this and make it so perfectly. But we talked about the breakdown and retest the $2 for anybody. If it does break down, you know, and then I talked about the 3,500 and the 20 grand on 10,000 tokens. That's just how I base it, on 10,000 tokens. I might own a little bit more, but I base it on 10,000 tokens. But XRP's utility to the core. And I have a feeling that what generally happens, ladies and gentlemen, like, some people sell out if they're in extreme losses, but it doesn't seem to make sense for everybody to sell it right before the tax season's over. Like, do you realize by not selling it today and selling it after January 1st, you don't have to pay taxes until 25 on the, or 26 on this? Anybody who sold in December is now burdened in 3 months to pay taxes. It's crazy. Like, that's just not a smart decision. And yeah, you might have sold out for a few thousand more, but you just gave it back in taxes, you know? Like, when everybody else is nervous, I talked about this yesterday, and some of you might think I'm off my rocker. DGB came back down to 0.095, and I bought more. I have over 1 million DGB now. I didn't think my goal was to get to 100,000, but the market, because of what it did, going to 0.004, 0.005, 0.006, 0.007, 0.008. So, you know, I'm looking at opportunity here. We talked about XDC, how when it got listed on HotCoin, the perfect buy, and it hit. We hit our perfect buy. I bought it at 645, not 638, because I couldn't wait. But I bought it at 648. And then if it comes back down to here, I've got a big plan to buy even more. And then if it comes down here, we'll even it out to where our average cuts in half, if not more. So, like, I made a lot of money yesterday. Even though we're seeing a lot of red, I bought AMP yesterday when it was down fucking 17% overnight, and then it reversed the whole way, and I sold at 0.008. Not because I wanted to, but because I have short plays on AMP, and I eat, and then I sell. That's just on BITUNIX. I'm not verified there. There's no KYC or VPN. That's why I use that exchange, so I can do it in privacy. So, I mean, there's opportunity here. There's a lot of opportunity here. A lot of opportunity. Hell, I've still got that Ethereum Classic open and the copy trading, so nobody will follow me anymore. Because too many people were talking leverage and not understanding the whole fundamentals and just trying to make easy money, that I got sick of it. If you want to copy trade, you got to learn the fundamentals. You can't just expect easy money, because there is no easy money. So I switched all of that, and I still have that Ethereum Classic trade out that's down a couple $100. And it's just going to sit there. Just going to sit there. Because I don't need anybody copy trading and then acting like that's the way to go, and then being part of this 1.5 billion in liquidations we've had the last couple of days. It's not happening on my watch. So yeah, we were doing great in it, but I turned that off. We can't do that. We got to be smarter before we can do stuff like that. And I can see retail is not very smart. Not my audience, but retail in general. When I see all this money being lost in liquidations, can't happen, won't happen. I won't allow it. Not on my watch. XRP whale activity during market correction pushes the coin 13% up and 13% up. It is $4 market price in sight. That is not why I'm reading this article. I'm reading this article because of the XRP whales. So the XRP, so you have to follow the whale activity to see if this is over or not. So just hear this out. Hey, not a bad play at all, Pump Master Flash, on those two particular tokens. The governments are loading up on HBAR. I don't know if anybody's actually been reading into that. But there's something big with HBAR about to transpire. And when it does, you're not going to see it under $1. Probably $2. But it's going to, when it happens, it'll happen. Until then, you just got to be patient and start to load up in the proper spots. I bought at 4.8 cents, so I couldn't be happier. XRP has experienced significant downturn in recent days, shedding over 17% of its value since Tuesday. Despite the sharp decline, key on-chain data from Sentiment highlights that whales are capitalizing on the data, or on the dip. So now you know why I use this article. I like the Sentiment data. So according to Sentiment data, large holders have accumulated an additional 110 million XRP in the last day, signaling strong confidence in the asset's potential. So in the last 24 hours, during that dip down to $1.90 and some change, 100 million plus tokens were bought by whales. The activities of whales during XRP's price drop suggest a calculated approach to long-term gains. Historically, significant whale accumulation during periods of negative market sentiment has often preceded a recovery. Currently, per CoinMarketCap data, XRP's price is consolidating within the range of $2 and $2.90, which I don't even know how they can say that, because it went all the way down to $1.85, and then it reaffirmed it at $1.96, whatever. It's close enough. Analysts believe this consolidation, it's not, but that's not the consolidation. It's consolidating, if you want the truth, between $1.88 or $1.85 and $2.72. That's the true consolidation. The 292 is irrelevant at this point. The resistance is already consolidated through, so I guess to that extent, 272 is irrelevant as well, because now the up, whatever, we'll just take it 290 to what did they say, 196, close enough. Echoing the challenges that asset faces in the short term. Ripple's native coin has managed to hold above a critical support zone of $1.90. Which analysts regard as the bull's last line of defense, maintaining this level is crucial for preserving the bullish structure that has defined XRP's recent price. We already know this. $1.85 on my chart is the end-all be-all. According to crypto, I don't care about Dark Defender, Big Fudster. All right, so don't care about his $4 prediction. He hasn't been wrong ever. I mean, he hasn't been right ever. Let's go into liquidations. So in the Bitcoin liquidation map, got a lot of stuff lining up. Like, if you look at this in the 2 weekly, I like it to look at it 2 weeks out when it's like this, just because we had a short area of consolidation. I have two friends that both sold around 65 cents, and they were positive it was a good idea. Now they're both thinking about rebuying it too. Good. That's a horrible decision. To chase it after you sold when it was so cheap. I don't even understand the logic of selling it at 60 cents. For what? I said this even when it went up to 91 cents in July of 23. What the hell is the point of selling it here? We're just going to pay taxes to buy it back to sell it where we want. Look, if you would have sold it in 23 for that quick couple 100%, you missed out on an additional 300 to 400%. You could still get that right now. Like, that's what I mean. All these people that jumped the gun at 95, 72, 60, 112, 135. Now it's at 220 settling in, and people are like, oh, I'm going to buy it back. No. The whole point here, too, is to try to hold on until they take taxes away. You know, HBAR, I got a government insider on it. It's a fact about... I know. I don't know that you have an insider, but I know what I've seen, and I know what I've heard, and I read the secret channels. And HBAR's got a huge connection to the government. I've not been so bullish on it for so long for no reason. And I'm more bullish today than I was at 4.8 cents, which is weird. It's going to have a huge move. Like, I'm telling you, HBAR will probably supersede any move because of where we got it at 4.8 cents, and we can probably achieve with XRP getting it at 35. It'll be close. It'll be close, but you figure every 4.5 cents you 1x compared to XRP every 34 to 35 cents you 1x. That means every time you 1x an XRP with the same price moving in HBAR, you're moving like 850% for every 100% move for XRP, just because of where we bought it. Now, if you bought it now and it's at 25 cents, you know, obviously you can't make that correlation. Just like if you bought XRP now, you can't make that same correlation. That's why the money is made in the bear market when nobody wants to buy. This is what I always say. If you're a 4-figure heir, which means you have 9,999 or less, and you buy properly in a bear market, you're going to be a 5-figure heir guaranteed. Maybe even 6. If you're a 5-figure heir going to 6, if you're 6, you're going to 7. That's how bear markets work if you do it properly in a bull market. So in my audience, I know for a fact I went from 4 digits in 21 to 5 digits in 21 to now over 6 digits in 25 or 24 because of what's happened here and because of our ability to buy it so cheap. Now, that doesn't mean it won't go back down, but it just means I'm not willing to give it up until it tells me to. The charts have to tell me to sell it. And it will if it breaks $2 and it comes back and backtoss it. Then we'll have a serious discussion here. We're going to say, oh boy, guys, is this a right shoulder? Is this really topping here? Because I really still see the technical zone at $5.49 for XRP out of that almost 7-year descending wedge. I can't change that. Haven't changed it the whole way up. I'm not going to change it till it invalidates. So right now at 108,000 is my key area of interest. Very key area. Look at this. Once you get to 108,400, there's $384 million in liquidations. There's over $350 million every $50 up. And then when you get up to almost 109,000, there's $250 million. Look at all, there's billions of dollars in liquidations in a 1,000 point zone here. Actually, in 107,000, there's a good amount too. There's a lot of liquidity up here, but once you get to 108,400, you start liquidating 350 million plus by every 50 bucks. Now, you go below us, big inverse head and shoulders setup. The Bitcoin hit 96,200 out of curiosity. I'm just curious this morning. I don't think it did. Look at all this little liquidity down here. You're starting to get a little bit more, but there's pennies here compared to what's above us. It is starting to add up, though. You can see nothing over 200 million. But it's getting closer. The farther down you go, look how little there is. Not a lot of people. That's what I'm saying. There's not a lot of people going long here. The bull run is technically not over yet because we haven't broke down the bullish consolidation. Yes, it's showing signs that we could be cooling off and we could be breaking down. But until, like for XRP, that pennant flag breaks, no, this is a bullish consolidation and this is a bull market consolidation. Until it's not. So let's say it breaks down to $1.80 and then comes back up and hits $2 and rejects. Then you probably ended this part of the bull market. It doesn't mean that it's overall done for the long term, but it just means the short-term spike that we had over a month is coming to an end. Ethereum did us no favors. Ethereum did us no favors. Sometimes XRP, don't blame your decent wallet. Sometimes off of the exchanges, it takes longer to process XRP on certain exchanges. I used to experience that with Uphold. It would be a 1-minute settlement, but Uphold would take 45 minutes to 3 hours to send it off their exchange. I'm not even joking, every single time. So then I'd have to wait almost an hour to get my stuff. I used to show up publicly all the time. I used to get so pissed. I still haven't had any resolution with Uphold, if anybody's wondering. They still haven't released my 1,000 XRP that's been stuck there since April. Amnesius has got a few limit orders from 215 and 190. Is that risky or buy now? If you were going to make a risky play, that's the way to do it. You don't want to be stuck in the middle of a zone. Right now, I can't even advise anybody to buy because we have a long leg doji here, which technically on a push back. See, it's so tough. Is this a reversal to push back up? Or is this bringing us back down? The gut says we would want to come back up here and fill $2.65 roughly before we were to come back down. But my soul says you can't forget that CME gap on Bitcoin at 96,200. But right now, if this long leg doji is a true reversal, we had a bearish candle here that pulled up into almost like a hammer candle. So it was disguised bearish, but technically it was a nice pull up. We would need this to reverse in the daily, and we need to close over $2.36.7. If it makes a new swing high or a new candle high on the close, then we reverse this narrative of bearishness, and we can push up in the short term to $2.63 or 64. If we don't, and you see for whatever reason XRP closed below 220, that's bad. That means we're probably going to have to come back and support $2. But I'm still not convinced that, either way, I'm not convinced. That's the crazy thing. The more people get bearish here the last 2 days, the more bullish I get. But I need this to do its job first. This needs to do its job. And what irritates me is that it couldn't get above this line. I drew 2 lines here. One for the drop on the inverse head and shoulders. And then this one at the resistance, it would have to get back after touching. And it could not. Like, look how it's stuck in this. So if you want to talk about the trading range, right now it's stuck between 237 and 217. That's a 20-cent range. So until it breaks below or breaks above, we're kind of stuck here. And the daily encompasses it. Look at that daily candle just stuck here. And yeah, the dragon pattern absolutely has not been invalidated yet. We've talked about this for a while, but the dragon pattern had a first move to 272, and then if it would have successfully held that, it would have went to the head of the dragon, which was at 292 roughly, but it got rejected there, and that's why we consolidated back down. We did not have enough support. So think of it this way, there's not enough support, so XRP had to come back down to the accumulation zone, and right now the accumulation was strong around $1.88. And it reaccumulated there. It was really close. Or $1.98, I should say. It came down to $1.94. The lowest was $1.88. So I've said if it loses $1.85, it's probably not good. That's probably where we come to a bad end. But we've not done that. We're in a pennant flag. So a pennant flag is defined by lower highs and higher lows successfully after a bullish push up. And it ends up being what looks like a bearish consolidation. But if you understand the fundamentals, it's actually a bullish consolidation. It doesn't mean it has to hold. But right now we've got downtrending resistance, uptrending support. That meets the... It just hasn't hit 3 times on each side. See, a pennant flag wants 3 hits of support, 3 hits of resistance to confirm the pattern and trajectory. Right now we've only had 2 hits of resistance, 2 hits of support. One could argue we've had 3 hits of support because you have 2 straight daily candles. I disagree because this first one didn't come all the way down and so on and so forth. So that's where we're sitting right now. And that's why I think we have a range between 273 and 195 that is tightening up now. And now the range tightens from 273 to 260. And now the range even tightens up from 260 to 197. A breach above is a breakout. A breach below is a breakdown. That's as simple as we can make it this morning. It's as simple as we can make it this morning. Does that resonate with any of my audience? And real quickly, while I wait for that answer, if you're looking to trade crypto, these are my preferred choices. This is what I personally use. BITUNIX crypto exchange. That's the lowest spot and leverage trading fees, the lowest maker-taker fees that I've come across in the USA. So if you're a leverage trader, take advantage of that. But I don't encourage leverage, obviously. I've actually opposed it. HOTCOIN is where I have my VELO, my IOTA, my ESE, and XDC now. So take advantage of that crypto exchange. Their maker-taker fees are fine. The leverage is a little more because you can do higher leverage and yada, 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 so on and so forth. The crypto.com, that is where I would encourage you guys. If you haven't done it yet, I would encourage you to join there. That's where I have my crypto debit card. You can put up to $25,000 on there at any time and use it as a prepaid debit card. It's linked to a bank in the USA. So you have $250,000 FDIC Federal Depositors Insurance, whether you trust it or not, it's there. So basically, Crypto.com is being subsidized by the government. So if you're afraid of them leaving, the government's subsidizing them. So don't be afraid. They have all their papers, they're FDIC backed. And I have a 3.8 position, 3.8 token position on PAXG on that exchange to try to combat what I have in crypto. So I've got over $10,000 in PAXG. Since I've opened this exchange, I just keep adding. So because I want to have it weighted in gold, even though it's not physical gold, it's still digital. It's a digital tokenized gold. But it's a way for me to balance the portfolio. So, and then you've got PayPal, Cash App, Venmo if you want to send a donation outside of YouTubers joining Tom's Army. But as I said before, I would imagine you'd want to save your money today. Try to find a deal. I mean, if you want to send a donation, one person has, that's completely up to you, but I wouldn't encourage it until we start rallying. So yeah, that's where we stand right now with all of that. It's red. We've got Christmas Eve in what, 3 days? Christmas in 4 days. It's interesting. We've got XRP Healthcare, which continues in its consolidation. We reestablished it yesterday to show the uptrend that it has to break. Unfortunately, right now in that candle, not liking that. I'm not liking that short-term candle. Unless this is a reversal and it's coming down to show weakness, and then it'll reverse before the end of the day. So we'd be looking for a pull down to 15.4 and a reversal back up. Right now, it looks more like a gravestone doji. Am I wrong about that? And it's on the bottom side of the uptrend. Oh, baby. I'm getting mixed signals here. We're getting huge mixed signals. Because it's still within a consolidation, but it broke the uptrend. Oh, it shows... BG, it's a 50-50 guess. But what I'm doing right now, going through this and openly talking about what I'm seeing across the board, it may be a 50-50 decision, but it doesn't have to be. You know the 100% spot that makes it bullish or bearish. It's 50-50 in whether or not it goes that bullish direction or bearish, but it's 100% certainty. You know where the breakdown or breakout is. The breakdown, if it breaks below 197 right now, is where the breakdown begins. If it breaks over, what is it, $2.40? What is that? Or 260? That's where the breakout begins. So yeah, it's 50-50 which way it goes, but there's 100% certainty of what happens if either one of those directions break out or break down. And because we have higher lows and lower highs, it's a pennant flag, so I don't believe we've broken down yet. Higher highs and lower lows simultaneously are pennant flags on a breakout of a bullish direction. These are typically designed as bearish consolidations for the observer, but they're actually bullish in nature. So until the higher lows successfully declines, again, I'm still not saying that this breaks down. The moment we get a lower high here, let's say this all of a sudden shifts, and then we get a low right here, and then all of a sudden we got a low at $1.07, that changes the entire narrative here, and it immediately would have to switch from even that bullish optimism to bearish. I'm just telling you, the moment that lower high break, or the higher low breaks, that's when you could finally say, well, we gave it a run, but unfortunately, we got to be honest with ourselves, and this might be the opportunity when it hits this $2 the last time to be able to capitalize on a $3,500 portfolio into $20K, and then we'll have to go from here and see if we can reassess it when it gets down to first layer 153, and then it obviously gets worse than that as we go. But that's how I look at the market. I'm not going to jump. I'm not going to force it bearish until it's time, just like I didn't force it bullish until it was time. I wasn't ready to call it bullish till XRP first layer got over the handle target from the cup and handle going back a couple of years until we got over and held 117. Then I said, okay, this is our first chance to tease a bull market. And what was my determination? It had to get over the handle target and hold it at $1.38 for me to say it's a full-blown bull market and we're about to explode. And then it did, because we knew the technicals. It was 50-50 when we got to $1.17, but we knew with 100% certainty if it broke over $1.38 and held, we were off to the races. Just like we knew with 100% certainty once it broke the cup and handle consolidation on the handle, 100% certainty we were going to 117. It did. We didn't know when, but that's how the charts work. Right now, there's a 100% certainty that if it breaks $1.97, we broke down. And if it breaks over $2.60, it's breaking out. We have 50% certainty that it can go up or down here. Absolutely. Because you don't know which direction it's going to take. But on the appearance of the fact it's over the 20-day and the daily or hanging on to it, that's a good sign. The fact that we're in a pennant flag and we have higher lows is a great sign. And lower highs successfully is an even better sign. Some people say, oh, well, wouldn't you want higher highs and higher highs and higher lows? Absolutely not. That's a rising channel. That's a recipe for catastrophe. You do not want to see higher highs and higher lows successfully. Sorry. Now, if you want lower highs and lower lows, in some cases that's fine because it's a falling channel. But again, you could break outside of a already well-defined pattern like this pennant flag. And then would you want to take a pennant flag and turn it into a falling channel? Probably not. I said I've considered it, but I don't know if I will. I said the only time I would consider it if it breaks this down and gets rejected at $2 or $1.97, and I can see it. But I've said that's not just me saying that I would. I said that's when you could make an educated and informed decision on if you want to sell. If you're going to do it here, it's not that it's not the right time. It's just not the right time. Because you got to wait for this pennant flag to break. There's nothing worse than selling in a pennant flag if it breaks bullish. Because then you know it's going up and we've already got the predetermined target. We don't even have to guess it. If it goes up right now, and let's just say, we'll even move it back. We'll move it back. Let's say it breaks out by January 3rd. Even if it waits till January 3rd, that's $3.50. We're retesting all-time highs. It doesn't seem to make sense not to go back up into those areas, but nothing ever makes sense in crypto, so nothing would ever surprise me. But I'm just saying, these are what I'm seeing. This is what the technicals are telling me. And it also says to be nervous for Monday as far as Bitcoin's concerned, because that CME gap's at 96,200, which likely means Bitcoin can't go very far from here until Monday morning opens, until the Chicago Mercantile Exchange comes online. Ask yourself why they call it the Mercantile. You guys can. It's a CME. It's the Chicago Mercantile Exchange. It's stupid. It's the way they manipulate crypto on the weekends. I want XRP to crash so I can buy more at a lower price. I don't disagree with that anti-communist. Like, some people are asking me if I'm looking to sell XRP. Julie, am I going to sell it?
No.
Okay.
Hell no. Hell no. H2O.
I'm XRP future millionaire. Unless I see a 100% reason, like in 2021, that I have to do it, I don't want to. That was the worst 2 years of my life, being XRP future millionaire, not holding it.
I won't let him.
I hated it. But I knew what I had to do. I had to wait until it hit that uptrend again. We're so far past that. If we break down now, is it going to take 5? Is it going to take 10? Is it going to take 20 years? Who the hell knows? We're not done yet. Unless it tells us we're done, we're not done yet. And I refuse to say we're done until it tells me. So, and I haven't saying yet. So, why are most people saying alt season hasn't even started yet? Because it hasn't. Because they're looking at the traditional sense of an alt season. Remember what I said? Alts ran before a traditional alt season because we're in a super market. This is a super cycle. Which means altcoins, in my opinion, didn't have to wait for the traditional alt season to move. Ethereum is the one that signaled alt season in all traditional senses. It would have had to have been over 4,000 and held more particularly 4,086. And then it would have simultaneously, Bitcoin dominance would have had to drop as Ethereum was rising. That is how it happens. That whole spending bill last night is bullshit. I hate it. Because all of the politicians got like a $60,000 raise. I don't give best guesses of where a price is going to be in 5 years. That's my best guess of doing that is bullshit. That's being a bullshitter, and I don't do it. Nobody can possibly know where it's going to be in 5 years. I can show you on a chart where I think it's going to go, but I don't make predictions like that. The last prediction I made, wholesale, was when I sold at $1.66, and I guarantee you I won't buy until it's under sub 40 cents. And everybody laughed and left my audience. After I made that guarantee that it was going to go down, first I said it was going to go to 52 cents on the nose. Which for anybody who knows, in 21, we dropped to 52 cents before even that bear market rally to like $1.17 or whatever. That's when everybody was like, holy crap, how could he possibly know it hit 52 cents on the nose? And then I said it was going to go sub 40, and I would buy sub 30, hopefully sub 20, but it wasn't a guarantee. And the first one I bought was 28 cents and sold at 44. And then I said the moment they announced quantitative easing in 23, I said everybody's got to buy their favorite cryptos. It's time. And that was at 34 cents, and I went ballistic. And here we are all this time later, and my portfolio's turned to zero. And yeah, we're at $2.25. I see so many people getting mad at XRP. XRP sucks. It never does shit. It always costs me money. It's at $2.25. You're right. I've been talking about XRP for 4 years, and this is the first time it's ever been over $2. For 3 of those years, it was under $1. So I don't know where people can possibly think like that. This is why most people sell out of a bull market before it ever gives them the signal. Their fear. People have more fear when they're making money than when they're losing it. It's amazing. Do you know how many people would rather sell out before the profit is there? But they'll sit through losses the entire way? Like they won't sit past a 10% profit to let it go up 100, 200, 300, 500. But they'll sit all the way down to 100% loss. I've seen it before and I'll see it again. It's amazing. It's amazing. We are conditioned as human beings to when we see red, we fear it. You understand when you're an investor, red is good? Red is great. If XRP would win unopposed to 3, it would be over already. The fact we're consolidating shows that there's bears versus bulls, and now you start to have to look to the deeper fundamentals. I'm not saying we're going to just go up. What I'm saying is let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's let the pattern kill us first. By no means did I think we'd be in a consolidation like this in 24. I thought in 24 probably what we were going to do at the end of the year like we did in November, but I didn't think we were going to surge past $1.98. I thought that was going to be a 2025 job just to start 25. But it got overzealous. So now it changes the approach a little bit. There's no way it could have just kept going up. It's impossible if there was utility here. It's impossible. That uptrend wasn't even realistic. Look how straight up this uptrend was, with no retracement. So I like to have lives like this when some people will leave, which most people might, because it's honest. See, and then it came down, came back up, and now in order to invalidate this, you're gonna have to break back up. But wouldn't it make more sense, even if bearish, to make a big M topping pattern like that? Some things just don't make sense to me right now. It doesn't mean it has to. It doesn't mean it won't break down, but until it does, like I said, I'm just going to keep reinventing this in the way I'm describing it so that people can understand. Bitcoin still has no real use case, and we're 10 years later at 100,000 almost. Bitcoin's a pile of trash. It is. It's the worst cryptocurrency on the market. And it's at 97,000. I'm just being honest. Most expensive to send, takes the longest to get there, and it mines the smallest amount of blocks known to man. It's ridiculous how long it takes. Yes, the 21 million tokens is exactly what I tell everybody about XRP. The reason it can never catch Bitcoin. It will break it via market cap one day, but it can never break the price. So when everybody says it's going to be bigger than Bitcoin, correct, by market cap. But the price will never, ever, ever pass Bitcoin unless Bitcoin goes to zero. I'm just being honest with my audience. Oh, NFTs are the most useless thing I've seen on this market in ever. So, and this is a point that I've preached to my audience since 21, and I lost a big part of it, but I only had 1,000 people then. But when I start preaching this stuff, people don't want to hear it. That doesn't mean we're not going to get wealthy. It means you got to look at tokens like XRP Healthcare in the ecosystem that only have 100 million tokens. How about that? It means you've got to look at tokens that have under 1 billion in circulating supply that have utility. Oh, Solana's the biggest trash token outside of Bitcoin. I'm not make no bones about that. It's the pump and dump token of the rich and the elite. That's why you see it go crazy up, but then it dumps 95% when it's done every time. It does it every time. In 21, it was up to like 300, 400, and then went to $5. Absolutely, coin. See, some people know what they're talking about, man. It makes me happy. Look what Cornstar said. I've not seen this comment ever in crypto. I see it a lot in commodities. Adjusted for inflation, XRP price needs to be between $8 and $10. Or 8 and 9, I can't remember. There needs to be around $8. No, I see no lies detected there. The de-dollarization of our dollar just holding XRP is phenomenal what's happening. Because even where I hold gold and silver, it's combating the inflation. I can sell it for the newer, higher amount. For XRP, that's not the case. Even if I sell it back into dollars, it's trash. What am I going to do with the dollars? Absolutely, Matt. It is a venture capitalist coin. I love it for Solana. That is 100% on point. 100% on point. And it makes tremendous wealth for people. That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about true utility. There is none there. We already know that. We've seen the sham of Solana. We've read through their white papers. It's a whole pile of horse shit. Literally pushed out for the big guy. It's basically the government reinflating itself. There you go. Yep. Exactly. You can move it cheaper than Ethereum, but it's basically the same thing. If it was me and I'm looking at a big system, forget Solana. Look at AVE, and I know a lot of people call it a scam. I told people to look at it at $137 on this run up. Does anybody want to take a guess? And I have some exposure to AV, as you guys know. I just don't talk about it. Does anybody know where it's at now? While we're all talking about all these up and down, bearish, bullish, I talked about this at $132. Despite all of this, and it very well might be coming to a top now, but look how high it went from our point. Remember when we talked about this on AVE? We were waiting for the breakout of 180. It went all the way up to almost 400. But AV has a lot of things I don't like in it. So that's why I only hold a small amount. And when I say a small amount, I mean 10 tokens. That's it. 10 tokens. It cost me like $1,800 or $1,500 to buy those 10 tokens. If I believed in it more, I would have bought more. And yeah, it's done me well. It's up a couple 100%. But it should have done better. Actually, no, it's not up a couple 100% now because it dropped back some. But there's certain variables that I can see in this market that I see people talk Ethereum and I say, why? Or I see people talk Solana. Why? If I wanted to own Ethereum, I would buy fucking HBAR. Or Algo. Are we kidding? I would either buy Algo or HBAR if I wanted Ethereum. I wouldn't buy ADA. I don't like ADA. I don't like Charles Hawkinson. So, like, you got to understand how to play the system. I see so many people in Ethereum, but why? I see so many people in Bitcoin. Aside from a rally, why? At Bitcoin at 97,000, why would you buy it now? For you to 1x, it has to be 194,000. That's ridiculous. Just like XRP, why would you buy now if you didn't buy at 50 cents? A 1x right now would put you up to 452. Not even seen $3 since 2017. Or 2018. Solo is one on the XRP ledger that everybody talks about that I just don't trust. I've talked about it a million times. Solo and Corium, for some reason, I can't wrap my head around either one of them. Even though I like them, it just doesn't seem right to me. That's why I stuck with XRP Healthcare amongst the three. It was my equal. Solo will make a shitload of money for people if they bought it at 8 cents, 7 cents. I just, as far as a long-term thing, Ripple Lab is long lost ancient technology center. Ooh. I love DAG. I love DAG. If I could buy it on any one of my exchanges, I've said this a million times, I would own it right now. I had it on Uphold. It made me a lot of money, but when I got rid of Uphold, I had to get rid of the token. DGB is the one that I continue to point to. I've talked about this over and over and over. If it's going to continue to give me time to buy, I'm going to eat. I've got over 1 million tokens of DGB. 1 million, and I'm still at 0.009 roughly, maybe a little bit lower. Because the last purchase I made was at 0095 roughly. And we were approaching zeros, it was like 0086 before that purchase. So now it's probably right around 009. Oh, DAG is huge utility. That is one in the future that I will permanently regret because I can't get it on any of my exchanges. But I've got so much other stuff it will help hide that. But I will cry one day about it. This is also looking not bad for DGB. You see all the top end resistance right here in the daily? God, I love talking like this with my audience. This is my most in tune audience that I've seen in a long time. And you picked a great day for this. Just an absolutely great day to be in tune. I can't lie. So right now, DGB, and it didn't even come back down to the downtrending resistance, and it didn't even bust it as a support. So this is good. I always do this on the back end. So resistance, resistance, resistance following through. Held the 208, bounced back within the descending wedge. That almost looks like a descending wedge. It's been tricky for me with DGB because it really does look like that's what it's forming. But I do know at some point this will erupt. We will erupt. You would recommend XLM? Absolutely. I bought XLM at 8 cents and still currently hold. I love XLM. I love XRP. I love XDC. I own them all. Everything you see on this list, believe it or not, I own except Ethereum and Bitcoin. I even have some Ethereum Classic so I could get people to stop copy trading me. I just bought it and it just sits there as a spot position. You guys can watch it go up and down for all eternity. I don't care because I needed to find a way to stop people from leverage trading me. We were up like 300% and then people got a little out of control. Some people started putting in $2,000-$3,000 at once when I was doing a $100 trade. And if I lost 10% and $10, they were losing a couple hundred, if not thousands, with the way they were trading. And it just didn't sit right with me. You can't expect to learn to fish if you're only going to come grab the fish and not do it yourself and cast the line, bait the hook. How the hell are you going to learn to fish if you just keep taking the fish from me? That doesn't work. Now you don't know how to skin it. You don't know how to do anything. You don't even know how to cook it. So that's a way to get cooked real easy, I found out. Real easy. So I own Algo. I own IOTA. I own Doge. It's in Julie's wallet on Robinhood. I bought it at 5 cents and sent it to her when they allowed it on Robinhood. I think it was at 9 cents when I sent it. Ethereum Classic for the purpose of just holding it in the copy trade for all eternity. So I have something so people can't say there's nothing. And I don't own it. So I just have it sitting there. XRP, I own. XLM, I own. And if I told the prices of where I bought it, some people would get pissed. But like XRP was 34. XLM was 8 cents. DGB's 0.0089 or whatever, with everything included. XDC was 6.36 or 6.63. I can never remember. Whatever that uptrend was, because it just got listed to HOTCOIN and I put the position for everybody to buy. Zillow barely above where I bought at 1.5. It's doing horrible right now. It's got so far to go. VeChain I bought at 2.4. HBRO I bought at 4.8. VELO I bought at 009. AMP I'm liquidated out of after the move yesterday again. I just go in and out of that at will. And then some of the newer ones, like IOTA I bought at 17 on average when it got on HotCoin. IOTX I bought at 2 point something. ESC right around where it's at 2.6. IOST's up a little bit because it was at 005 whatever on the drop. DGB a little bit lower than where it's at. I bought it at 009 roughly on average because I bought over 1 million now. VeChain we've already went over. So, and then I've got XRP Healthcare that I bought at 1.7 cents. Well, 2 cents if you want to call it an average. So like I've got a lot of things that are still going, and there's a lot of things that are a little difficult to do what you need to do with. So I got to leave, though, because I have this party going on today. It's been over an hour. I've tried the best I can to exemplify what I think is happening in the market. I greatly appreciate my viewing audience. I really, really do. Stronghold is another great one. That's SG, or what is that? Stronghold, is that SGB? No, wait a minute. Which one's Stronghold? Is that SHX? I always confuse the two by name. Oh, thank you, Matt. I really appreciate that. But yeah, thank you, everybody. So I'm going to go get this party stuff set up. And I look forward to seeing Ohio State today. And I kind of secretly want to see if Tennessee wins, if they'll plant that flag at the 50-yard line. Yeah, I'm not a drinker, so I don't plan on drinking at all today. Yeah, I think I've drank once this entire year. So, when me and Julie went to the casino, for her birthday back in July. But yeah, I don't like to drink. I'd rather just smoke the cannabis. Yes, SHX. Okay, thank you for answering. That's what I thought. SHX. The only place to buy XRP Healthcare, if you're even fortunate enough to do it, we used to buy it on MEXC when it was available in the USA, and then they cut us off last year, or earlier this year. The only place that I know of, and you have to use the app because it still works for me, and I talked to customer service on Albank. If you do it on the website, it's not going to work. Video description below, my homepage. Go to the links that I put up there so it's easier for you guys so you don't have to try to figure it out. That's the login for Albank on the app. And that's why I put app only, it works. It's not on Coinstar anymore for the USA. They delisted it on Coinstar, FYI, in the USA. I know for some of you that watch around the world, it's still there, but in the USA, I can confirm it's delisted. Albank, it's still there, and I can trade. I've sent it from my XRP Healthcare wallet to there just to buy and sell it to see how it worked. Small amount. Worked fine. Resent it back to my wallet, no issue. So there's at least an off-ramp that I've talked about there for Albank, if you can use it. So other than that, have a blessed one, everybody, and thank you so much for being a part of this. I really, really